Welcome and good evening. My name is Laura Milner, and I am the Chair of Voter Services for the Kittitas County League of Women Voters. It is my pleasure tonight to welcome you on behalf of the League, as well as the Ellensburg Daily Record and Northern Kittitas County Tribune, to the Kittitas Valley Hospital Commissioner Board District Number 1, Seat Number 3 Candidates Night. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the League's production and post-production crew, Charlie Sorensen, Karen Raymond, Dolores Irwin, and Catherine Murphy for making this event possible. Kittitas County League, a nonprofit in existence for over 50 years, has presented Candidates Night to help educate county voters since 1980. We are a nonpartisan grassroots organization that never supports or opposes individual candidates or political parties. Our goal in hosting these events is to educate the voters about candidates and their positions as they stand for election, because informed voters do make a difference. The League of Women Voters records and retains a full, unedited copy of all candidates' forums. If any portion of a League forum is redistributed out of context to make a candidate appear to say something they did not say, or edited to make a candidate look bad, or in any way they did not actually look at the original form, then the League of Women Voters will alert the media, provide the unedited video for comparison, and file appropriate complaints with any applicable governing authority. Tonight's forum will focus on candidates running for the Kittitas Valley Hospital District Number 1, Commissioner Board Seat Number 3. Be aware that all candidates running for the KVH Commissioner Seats 3 and 5 were invited, but James Cho withdrew from the race, and therefore Matthew Altman is already the winner of that race. Tonight, we are so excited to be able to have two candidates running for the seat number 3 that they have graciously agreed to appear here are Michael Barrow and Erica Libanow. As we begin, I want to note that our ballots will be mailed October 12th. Please call the auditor's office if you don't receive yours in a timely manner after October 12th. You still have time to register after October 12th, and you can change your address. You can do so online until October 25th and in person at the auditor's office by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November the 2nd. Your ballot must be postmarked on or before November the 2nd. There are also 9 drop boxes, ballot drop boxes throughout Kittitas County. If you are unsure where yours is, do check with the auditor's office website for the complete list. In addition to the live stream event, the recording will be on the Kittitas County YouTube channel with links found at kittitasleague.org. We want to thank the following partners for also sharing these forums: Ellensburg Daily Record and Northern Kittitas County Tribune. We apparently are having technical difficulties as we lost Michael Barrow, but he is now coming back, so that'll be great. We have discussed the ground rules for the forum with the candidates prior to today's event. My job is to keep us on time and on task, which means that if a candidate goes past their time, I will move us along. The candidates have the opportunity to make a 2-minute opening statement. Then we will ask 6 prepared questions that we sourced from the community. We provided these questions to the candidates a few hours ago, and they will have 60 to 90 seconds, depending on the question complexity, to respond to each question. Then we will move up to 3 live stream audience questions, depending on time availability. The candidates will have 90 seconds to respond to each of these questions. The forum will conclude with a 60-second closing statement by each candidate. Should an opponent wish to rebut the response, they must signal they wish to do so. Once recognized, they shall have 30 seconds. Only one rebuttal will be permitted. We will rotate the questions that are asked, so no candidate goes first all the time. And if I make an error in this regard, I hope the candidates will let me know. If you are viewing this live, you can submit a question by texting to 509-654-9030. These questions must be for all candidates. League members will review the questions. We may combine or edit them for clarity, nonpartisanship, and time limitations. Our general voters guide is already live on October the 12th at the kittitasleague.org. The guide includes links to candidates' campaign websites it provided, financial filings, completed candidates, League of Women Voters questionnaires, and more. We urge you to check it out and share it with other voters. At this point, we would like to welcome Erica Libanow and Michael Barrow to the forum. Thank you both for taking time to be with us, and thank you for your willingness to serve our community as the Kittitas Valley Hospital, District Number 1, Seat Number 3 Commissioner. As we discussed earlier, I will alternate who answers questions first. Michael, I want to make sure you are there. On my screen, it's just a dark picture. Are you at least here?
I'm here. It should be, yeah, it's just a dark picture. That's not good. But you can hear the voice, right?
We can hear the voice, so yes. And I think I've been saying your name wrong. It's Libanow.
Libanow.
Libanow. Okay, my apologies for that. I thank you for your patience. We begin with opening statements. So, Ms. Libanow, we will start with you. You have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Erica Libanow, candidate for Kittitas County Public Hospital District Number 1, Position 3. I would like to thank the Kittitas County League of Women Voters for hosting tonight's forum. In 2015, when I was elected to serve as your commissioner, I promised integrity, accountability, and fresh ideas. I kept my promises, and if you re-elect me, I will continue to lead in this way. The past 6 years have been dynamic and have resulted in substantial improvement and growth for Kittitas Valley Healthcare. The board hired a new CEO who has skillfully managed the organization. KVH has grown tremendously. We identified the community's needs and added many services, including pediatrics, workplace health, dermatology, wound care, vascular surgery, cardiology, outpatient pharmacy, ears, nose, and throat, and more. We continue to manage a pandemic that will hopefully soon be in the rearview mirror. The COVID clinic provides our community with much needed testing services at no cost to patients or their families. And KVH was integral to the success of the COVID vaccine clinic at the fairgrounds, administering thousands upon thousands of vaccines to grateful recipients. In fact, I volunteered there myself and may have given some of you your shots. A little about myself: I am mother to 6 fantastic sons and 1 lovely daughter-in-law, and wife to a really great guy. I earned my Bachelor of Science and Nursing degree from Washington State University. My passion is healthcare, and I am currently a school nurse for Thorpe School District. I bring a familiarity with healthcare from the provider perspective that is valuable to the board. I am honored that you chose me to serve in 2015. I have worked hard for our hospital district and our community, and I hope I have earned your vote in 2021. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Mr. Barrow. You have 2 minutes to make your opening statement.
Okay, thank you. My name is Michael Barrow, and I'd like to also thank the League of Women Voters for sponsoring this forum. I've been a fan and watching, participating as in the audience side with the League of Women Voters. I think 30 years now I've been to those meetings here and in the Seattle area. I'd encourage you to take a look at the voters pamphlet and my information piece on that, where I talk about my background, both in government affairs. I have over 35 years of government affairs, legislature work and executive work, both in Alaska and Washington State, and have worked extensively in legislative works. Which gives me the advantage of knowing where the money is, where the programs are to improve services for citizens of Kittitas County through the hospital. Also, I was in private business for 25 years in the fishery business, which brings a perspective in business, which is important. The area that's the areas that I'm asking for your support on, and I'm asking for your support, and my focus and primary work serving our community on the hospital board will be to fight for lower hospital prices to the public, improved hospital services, including customer services and medical services. And if you go on YouTube, or go on Google search, and any of the critiques and reviews of the hospital, it needs a lot of help. You just do it, and just people are not that satisfied right now.
All right, Mr. Barrow, that would be
hospitals.
the end of your time. So thank you for that opening statement. And we will then start with the question
Okay.
number one. I will let you know that we cannot see your face, but we can hear you very distinctly.
Okay.
So there we go. All right. So Mr. Barrow, we
Okay.
start with you, and you have 60 seconds to answer the question. This is, please give the job description of a hospital commissioner in your view, and what do you hope to accomplish in taking this position?
Yeah, the hospital role of a hospital, public hospital, can be identified pretty clearly in RCW 70.44.060. And I'd encourage anyone that's interested in what a hospital does to look at 70.44.060. But they can lease property, buy property. They can contract with services, all kinds of services, medical, and they then hire and review providers. They can raise money. They raise money. They raise money through taxes, and as well as floating bonds. It's a pretty extensive and wide area. And the area that I'm most interested in right now is getting a detox center for our county, and a proper detox center, as well as mental health services. And the hospital can do that effectively, and needs to, and under my role will get that done. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. All right. So Ms. Limino, sorry. Please give the job description of a hospital commissioner in your view, and what you hope to accomplish in taking this position.
Certainly. So the job of the hospital commissioner is to provide broad oversight for the organization, set the mission, vision, values, develop a strategic plan collaboratively with fellow board members, use fair and accurate evaluation techniques to evaluate the CEO, listening to the concerns of the community, including the staff. And things I'd hope to accomplish is to transition from the pandemic and focus on growth, explore ways to improve health in the community, increase service lines based on identified community need, maintain our strong financial position, and partner with staff for development and wellness purposes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Question number two. Clarify how you think the Kittitas Valley Hospital has met the challenges of the pandemic. In your opinion, what have been the successes of those challenges and the opportunity for improvement for meeting those challenges? It's a 90-second question. So Ms. Limino, you have 90 seconds.
Thank you. In March of 2020, KVH opened the COVID clinic to test the community. Its testing is on a walk-in basis. It's open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there's no cost to patients or their families for this service. Additionally, the organization-wide, there was an effort to conserve supplies due to supply chain uncertainty. There was increased stewardship of supplies to make sure that we had the supplies needed for procedures and daily operations. KVH dedicated personnel to staff the vaccine clinic at the fairgrounds. And then as far as improvement goes, staff members at KVH are working very hard. They're picking up extra shifts. They're transitioning to new roles where there's a need. And sometimes that's an uncomfortable transition, but they're stepping up and doing it anyhow. We have many job postings. So if there was one improvement, it would be for people to please apply, fill those job postings, and alleviate the strain on the staff. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So repeating the question for you, Mr. Barrow, clarify how you think the Kittitas Valley Hospital has met the challenges of the pandemic. In your opinion, what have been the successes of those challenges and the opportunity for improvement for meeting those challenges? You have 90 seconds.
Yes, I come from a rather unique perspective on this. I had COVID pretty badly from March and April, and when the pandemic was raging, and it was a tough go. And like many people in the community, they reached out to the hospital to get testing to verify that they were getting that they were positive or negative for COVID. Unfortunately, the hospital did not have enough testing equipment, testing for COVID. So, but they made sure that all the providers did, but the people in the community, unfortunately, did not have access to that. I called and other people called the center. They said, well, don't come in for a test. If you're really sick, come in and go into the emergency room. The reason this is a pretty good example of poor planning and big lack of transparency. People did not know in the community that there was no enough testing devices. And the reason it was bad was because people, when they went to the doctor and they said, oh, I had COVID, sure, show us. Or here, I have an immunity for COVID. Well, you couldn't. So there was areas that they can definitely improve on. And I bring a perspective of being a patient. And I think the board needs that, very much so.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right.
Yeah.
Question number 3. Please describe ways the 2 hospital districts, 1 and 2, could work together to improve healthcare outcomes countywide. 90 seconds. Mr. Barrow, we begin with you on this round. You have 90 seconds.
Yes. Well, my big pushes and advocacy are for 2 main areas. One, getting a detox center in the county, and we desperately need that, a proper detox center with security, medical, and psychological services, as well as a recovery services for drugs and alcohol. We literally have more people dying in this area from the fentanyl and the other drugs, especially our young people now, than for COVID. So we need that detox center. Before you go into recovery, you need detox. It's urgently and desperately needed. And both the upper and lower county can cooperate on this. Also, we have mental health services that are coming our way, and we need to build up our mental health services. Both, there can be cooperation in the upper and lower county. They both need proper mental health services. And I think with the money that's arriving here in about 2 more years from the settlement that was made with the state of Washington, when the money that was supposed to go to the communities ended up going to DSHS, now that money is coming to us in our community in about 2 years. But we have to prepare. We have to prepare for it with capital budget money, with buildings, but we're going to have lots of money for mental health services. But we need to prepare and come up with a good action plan. Right now, when I was visiting with the hospital staff and management, they indicated their projections where they needed 12 psychologists in the county. They have 1, barely 1. So the need is not being met. And so we have money coming. The news is good. And the other good news is the hospital is in good financial shape right now.
Okay. Well, at that point, I'm going to have to interrupt you and let it go to Ms. Libano. Let me repeat the question for you. Please describe ways the 2 hospital districts 1 and 2 could work together to improve health outcomes countywide.
Thank you. Districts 1 and 2 have a history of strong collaboration. They collaborate well to provide for our entire county. KVH operates KVH Family Medicine Cle Elum under the approval of District 2. District 2 operates Medic 1, notably servicing a busy stretch of I-90, Suncadia, Roslyn, Cle Elum, and surrounding areas. KVH CEO serves as a superintendent for District 2, and the CFO serves as treasurer for District 2. We can continue to look for opportunities for collaboration, and I would start by focusing on areas identified in the current community health assessment and community health improvement plan. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, question number 4. Describe KVH's current partnerships with other agencies in the Kittitas County and what agencies KVH should think about partnering with in order to improve community health. Ms. Libano, you have 60 seconds to answer the question.
Thank you. KVH is one of Kittitas County Health Network's 12 key stakeholders. Through KCHN, Kittitas County Health Network, KVH partners with CWU, City of Ellensburg, Ellensburg Police Department, Kittitas Valley Fire and Rescue, and other organizations. Together, they work to integrate systems to improve community health. Ideas for collaboration include working with any organization that seeks to improve health throughout the community, and any of those organizations should be considered if we have a common goal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, repeating the question for you, Mr. Barrow. Describe KVH's current partnership with other agencies in Kittitas County and what agencies KVH should think about partnering with in order to improve community health. You have 60 seconds.
Yes, the current, my opponent identified the main partnerships, the city police, the fire department, and I think they're all. She left out the services that are for social services. The ones that are not being worked with are a couple. The sheriff's department. I see it's essential they be working with the sheriff's department. 2, they should be working with the county commissioners. It's the largest area of government in our county. They need to be working cooperatively with them, as well as with the coroner's office. Coroner's office does a lot of work, has a lot of authority, understands what the fatalities are here, what are causing the fatalities. We need to see more cooperation with those 3 entities.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Question
Thank
number
you.
5. Clarify what you think your role is in increasing the diversity of hospital staff, as well as increasing the outreach to the broadening diverse elements that Kittitas County is. Mr. Barrow, we will begin with you. You have 60 seconds.
I think it's important that we outreach to diversity. I grew up in as a military Air Force brat, and the Air Force was integrated in 1948. So I grew up living with all kinds of minorities as a normal way of living. So I kind of have an advantage on that. And but what is more important than getting diversified individuals in, which is important, is to serve the community better, to make sure that the people feel they're getting their money's worth in the area of customer services. Customer services have a terrible rating currently amongst the community, and I know because I've been campaigning. Everyone has stories that are not so good, and I think we could improve it with doing performance audits. They work. And I would hope we would also bring in nurses from outside the country to fill the gap like they do at Swedish, where they're bringing in Filipino nurses very effectively, filling the gap at Swedish Hospital. And I think that would be one area to participate in diversity with the Filipinos.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Okay, so repeating the question for you, clarify what you think your role is in increasing the diversity of the hospital staff, as well as increasing the outreach and broadening diverse elements that Kittitas County is. So Ms. Libano, you have 90 seconds.
Thank you. Understanding diversity in the county is vitally important. Kittitas County is becoming increasingly diverse every year. And it's important that KVH is sensitive to the needs of the diverse population. I am board representative to the Patient and Family Advisory Council, also known as PFAC, which seeks to have representatives from the community inform the hospital about matters that affect the community. The membership is diverse within council members. Together, we identify challenges and opportunities from a variety of unique perspectives. These perspectives directly lead to improvement initiatives at the hospital. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, question number 6. What is KVH's role in addressing the mental health needs of the county? 60 seconds. Ms. Libano, we begin with you.
Thank you. So KBH's role in addressing mental health, we partner again with KCHN, Kittitas County Health Networks organizations to identify, ideally to identify factors that may negatively influence mental health within the community. As an organization, mental health is part of primary care. There's a strong correlation between chronic conditions and mental health issues. During primary care visits, screening tools are used to identify those individuals who might benefit from mental health or behavioral health services. Indeed, mental health service is an opportunity for growth in Kittitas County and pretty much everywhere. So good one to keep an eye on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Repeating the question for you, Mr. Barrow, what is KBH's role in addressing the mental health needs of the county? You have 60 seconds.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, mental health, getting good, proper mental health services to our community is one of my top 2 priorities as serving as a commissioner. And the facts are, we're not, KBH is not serving very well the community for mental health services. When I'm campaigning, I talk to people, they all say we desperately need good mental health services. When I meet with the staff of the hospital and they say they need 12 psychologists and they only have one or none, that's not meeting the needs of the community for mental health services. So we need to start working on that very, very aggressively. To stop the suicides, and it also, good mental health relates to drug and alcohol abuse and the deaths that we've experienced there. So I would say we need to put the effort in. I'm going to work on that. That's going to be a number 1 priority of getting ready for the money that's coming in from the state for mental health services. But I think we could, KBH could do much better in that area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we have been collecting questions from our audience. I want to remind you that we only have time for roughly 3 questions.
Did you copy me on that? Did you?
No, these are
You're
live
cutting off
questions.
on me here.
These are live questions that come in from the audience. So this will be your first ones. So first time you see it, I will repeat it twice. Our volunteers may have combined or reworded the questions to maintain nonpartisanship or for clarity. If we do not get to your question, remember you can always reach out to the candidates via email and ask them directly. So Mr. Barrow, you will be going first and you will have 90 seconds to answer this question. I will read it twice so that you will know what we're asking. So the pandemic has shown a spotlight on the workforce.
You're breaking up on me here a little.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So can you hear me now? Okay. The pandemic has shown a spotlight.
You're breaking up.
Okay.
Yes, but it's it's choppy, but go ahead.
Okay. The pandemic has shown a spotlight on the workforce shortage in healthcare. What are some strategies to retain our qualified staff and recruit?
I'm not hearing you on this at all.
Okay.
Let me check
Ms.
my.
Limino, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we switch off to you?
Okay.
And then we will go back to Mr. Barrow and hopefully his audio can.
I can hear you now. I think I can hear you now.
Okay. So back to you, Mr. Barrow. We will let you go. Let me read you.
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Let me read you the question again. The pandemic has shown a spotlight on the workforce shortage in healthcare. What are some strategies to retain our qualified staff and recruit new employees? Now I'm going to read that again to you. The pandemic has shown a spotlight. Oh, and we lost Mr. Barrow. Okay, Miss Limino, over to you. We're going to ask you the question. Okay, so the pandemic.
I remember. Is
okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
So this is an excellent question, and it's very timely, and it's so needed. There's a lot that can be done to encourage staff to stay, encourage staff to recruit staff. We're facing shortages from people who, for whatever reason, are leaving the workforce. Many are retiring. Many are leaving over philosophical issues with the mandate. Some are just tired and they're looking for a new direction in profession. And that leaves hospitals everywhere shorthanded. So the first thing I can think of when it comes to maintaining the workforce is have a fantastic work environment, have great leadership and great employees to work with. If people are feeling pride and satisfaction in their work, I believe that they will want to stay. There are other means of attracting workforce. Some organizations will have recruitment bonuses. I think it's a bit of a salt in a wound for people who have stayed for a lengthy period of time. I would prefer retention versus recruitment bonuses. But I think by and large, it all comes back to the environment that people are working in. If they're comfortable, if they're happy, if they're satisfied, then that's key to maintaining. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Limino. All right. So, Mr. Barrow, I'm glad to see that you are there. And I'm getting a text or a chat moment. I need to apologize for question 5. Apparently our timing errors were there. So some timing errors were there. So I apologize for that. And but moving on.
I'm hearing a little of that right now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I'm going to repeat the question that came in from our audience. So the pandemic has shown a spotlight on the workforce shortage in healthcare. What are some strategies to retain our qualified staff and recruit new employees? You have 90 seconds.
Yes, I think the biggest thing that's causing the shortfall of personnel is lack of financial incentive. The hospital is doing quite well. It's running a 10% profit margin, which is pretty exceptional for a public hospital. I believe they can afford to pay their staff more, especially working under such stressful situations. Better recruitment and then providing housing. Housing is a big factor, or lack of housing. In some hospitals, they even provide dorms for nurses and other staff. They're making the money, but they got to get creative on the housing because it's really a restriction for all of us in the community, the high cost of housing. But mainly, I think they just have to recruit better and pay more. Yakima is paying more, and they're getting the nurses, they're getting the staff, they're getting the surgeons, surgery assistants. And also our great community has a lot to offer and to sell, to be a place to go to. And I think that could be emphasized as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Since you went second on that one, Mr. Barrow, you will get to go first on this question. And what role does the Hospital Commissioners Board play in maintaining the latest technological advances in the industry at KVH? I will reread that to you. What role does the Hospital Commissioners Board play in maintaining the latest technological advances in the industry at KVH? You have 90 seconds.
Well, the hospital board has a pretty broad scope of what it does. It's basically a management board for the hospital, which is a multi-million-dollar operation. So they oversee the budget, where the money goes, and proposals can come to them for technology. Right now, we need some better imaging technology that we don't have. We have to shop it out. There's other things that we could use in technology, but the board has a lot of latitude in doing that. And I'm looking forward to working in there. I like technology. I understand it. I have a degree in IDS from Central from 2015, so I'm pretty sharp on that stuff, and I pick it up easily. So I'm looking forward to identifying the best technology for Kittitas County for its medical services. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, repeating the question for you, Ms. Limino. What role does the Hospital Commissioners Board play in maintaining the latest technological advances in the industry at KVH?
Thank you. At KVH, we're fortunate to have talented Chief Information Officer and similarly talented IT staff working with him. They bring ideas and proposals to the board when appropriate, and the board votes on those requests. And generally, they are reasonable requests that better the organization. And when that happens, that's generally a yes vote, and the motion carries, and the new technology purchase is carried out and implemented, and then we're on to the next development of new technology. I believe as a board, we are welcoming of technological advances, and we look forward to hearing what else our IT staff brings to us. Thank you.
Thank you for that very much. All right, so Ms. Limino, you will go first on the next question. You will have 90 seconds. I will repeat it twice for you. What role do you see the board playing in helping the community combat addiction? Repeating, what role do you see the board playing in helping the community combat addiction?
What role do I see the board playing?
Yes.
I will speak on behalf of what the hospital would do, because the board provides oversight for the organization. So the role I see for the hospital, again, is a partnership role with other community stakeholders. The board is approving of those ventures. The board likes to see that partnership happen. And so with the key stakeholders through KCHN, again, we together look at the social determinants of health, and part of that is addiction, substance use disorders, whether it be alcohol or opioids, and take a good look at how we can partner and reduce the substance use disorders. Again, law enforcement is part of KCHN, so they would bring that expertise to the partnership. It is a big concern, especially lately. It's been highlighted in the news, the young lives that have been lost to opioids, and this does not fall on deaf ears. We are very, very concerned about this issue and would like to make progress on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Barrow, repeating the question twice for you. What role do you see the board playing in helping the community combat addiction? Repeating, what role do you see the board playing in helping the community combat addiction? You have 90 seconds.
Well, this is an area that I'm very it's close to my heart, and in fact, they've both Scott Olander, the Chief Financial Officer, and Julie Peterson, the Chief Executive Officer, say I'm a little passionate about this. I've spent time already meeting with them and working with them and identifying how we could get a detox center under the hospital into the community, under the hospital in our community. It's desperately needed. It's something that the hospital can do. And we can contract with other people that are actually getting the job done in other parts of the country and bring them in as a franchise. I worked in this area in Olympia over the last 6 years. I know the steps on getting these services in, and there is plenty of money, by the way. But we just have to have the drive and the desire. And if we don't, we're right now we have a border. We don't have a border. We have amphetamines, fentanyl, heroin flooding our community right now. Talk to the sheriff, talk to the chief of police. They know that it's coming into our community in very large quantities, and we're pretty defenseless without having a detox center that's a proper one, a proper detox center and recovery facility. And without that, our community is vulnerable for deaths and much, much suffering, not just the people that experience the addiction, but the family members too. I've gotten a very positive response in my campaigning for this. People want to see this addressed, and they don't believe it's being addressed right now. And so we need to take very firm action, quick action to get this happening in our community.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. All right. We are to the point of closing statements. All right. So thank you both for answering the questions. So Mr. Barrow, you have 60 seconds to make your closing statement. 60 seconds.
Yes, 60 seconds.
No, I was
I'll try and
repeating it
cover it a little
because
better this-
unfortunately our technology was showing that it was 90, so it's 60 seconds. So,
As my 67 seconds started,
yes,
it's fine. I'm asking for your vote and support for Barrow for commissioner. I am dedicated to the position. I want to help the community out. And I think it's an area to use my background, my expertise to move things ahead that the community needs. The areas for improved services are urgently needed. Quality services. We need those. We're getting financial audits, but we don't have performance audits. We need performance audits on customer services. We need better medical services. People are fleeing the community right now when they are looking at medical services and going to Yakima or Seattle. The reputation for this KVH is not good. It's not good for quality. And you just have to look at the Google ratings or any of the other ratings, and you'll see people are not satisfied. And I get
All right.
stories
okay.
every time I go out campaigning. So
All
we
right,
need
well,
to seriously improve the quality, and we can.
Okay,
Thank you.
so I want to thank you for that, Mr. Barrow. I really appreciate it. So, Ms. Libano, you have 60 seconds to make your closing statement.
Thank you. Thanks again to the Kittitas County League of Women Voters for hosting tonight's forum, and thanks to my opponent for meeting here tonight to discuss these important issues. In recent months, our hospital has seen some of the hardest of days. Our team of 650 plus staff members have given so much of themselves to care for our community during the pandemic. I'm proud of KVH. I want to continue advocating for this incredible staff, advocating for our community's needs, and advocating for KVH so that we may be healthy, strong, and independent well into the future. My name is Erica Libano. I'm running for Kittitas County Public Hospital District Number 1, Position 3, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to thank Erica Libano and Mr. Michael Barrow for sharing their views and their willingness to serve as Kittitas Valley Hospital District Number 1, Seat Number 3 commissioners. We want to thank our co-sponsors, the Ellensburg Daily Record newspaper and the Northern Kittitas County Tribune, for sharing the information about these forums and these forum videos throughout the voting season. Finally, thank you to the many league volunteers who make these events possible. To get more information about all candidates running in the 2021 general election, the Kittitas League has created a nonpartisan online voters guide where you can find links to the candidates' websites and other helpful resources. You can also get information at vote411.org and at the Washington State Secretary of State's office. Remember to vote for the candidate that best represents your views. Every vote counts. Your vote matters. Join me by casting your ballot in the November 2nd general election. Thank you and good night.